In this video, you will learn how to program. If you haven't done that yet, this video is for you. But first, I need to say this. If you're interested in computer science, consider subscribing to this channel, because next week I will publish a video about how I summarize a whole year of computer science in only 5 minutes. And this video is quite important to myself. Because if I would have been 10 years younger, I would probably have appreciated such a video, because at the beginning there are a lot of things you can do wrong. And to be honest, searching on YouTube how to program, you can find a lot of tutorials out there which tell you how to program, but just writing "Hello world" in different languages isn't how you program. I'm sorry to disappoint you. And second, I need to apologize to every subscriber who has already a bit more experience in programming. This video might not be for you, except if you are interested in a Python special hack, then I would jump to this timestamp. But if you are already experienced in programming, you probably know somebody who always annoys you how to program something or to fix something for him. And maybe this is a good opportunity to share this video with them. Maybe your sister, your brother, a friend, or a coworker who just can't program. But first, let's start with the programming language. Of course, there are several programming languages out there, but only a few are actually good to learn programming. And you don't want to start with PHP or D. Okay, but now let's start. And we will start our very first game in Python, even if we are just starting out. And stick around, because at the end of the video you will have your own game which you can customize later. Your own game which you can show to your friends, your parents, or your boss. And before we jump into coding, I want you to know that this isn't just about learning the syntax of a programming language. It's about learning the mindset of a programmer. And trust me, it's easier than you think. Okay guys, and now let's start with a simple random number generator. And it's like a little brain teaser which teaches you about user input and randomization. And the most important thing, to get your Python code running and understand what a function in Python is. But before we start, we need to install VS Code, Visual Studio Code and Python. So please look into the description of the video. I have a link there where everything is described with a quick how-to guide, how to get started. So, and when you're ready, you have your VS Code installed, your Python installed, and you have actually this repository downloaded. You can usually download it through Git and it should look like this. Okay, but now let's get really started. Because this is the README file. README file explains you basically everything there is. If you click over here, open preview, you need a small extension installed. You don't need to do that, but here you can read it a bit simpler, in a better format. And here you can also have a quick description where I wrote everything down. What is the assignment, how you can customize the code, and so on. But now let's start with the random number generator, and here you can already see we have here an import, which is basically a module import. And here you can, with this def, which is definition basically, it defines a function that is called generate random number. And here you have the two parameters, min value, max value, which are given and then simply just taken over. So basically in Python it's like this. At the top you have here the function declared, and below you have the code that's actually running. So here you want to get a random number, and you then just call this function generate random number, which is some value, which should be some value between 1 and 100. And now we want to introduce the concept of variables. We just give here and we just enter here this min value var and then say 1, okay? Then we can take this variable and give it to this function. Why? You will see that in a minute. Sorry, max value var, which will be 100. And we can just overtake these two values. And here you can then also put the max value var and this min value var. Oops. So why have we done that? Because now you can simply just change here the value and it will take effect on both values. That's very easy. And to have a random number generator, you actually don't need to implement a random number generator by yourself, which would be quite complicated. They are actually library functions which you can just use. So in this case, we will just leave it at that. We call a function which is called generate random number. And then in this function, we just call random from this module random, the function ranInt. You can actually just Google this function and then you have a large description, how it works, what it does, and so on. But now let's come to the interesting part. We start a new terminal and then we want to execute this code. And it's very simple to execute it. If we are in the right folder, here I have just named it Python code. And then I just Python, and then I call the script. And what we expect now is that this print function, which is a built-in functionality in Python, will just output this string, so these words basically. And then of course these fixed values that we have already given and the variable random number, which will then contain the output from this, or simply a generated number between 1 and 50. Let's check if this works. Just hitting enter and now you can see, okay, this is 40. Let's execute it next time, which is 33. Both values are totally fine. I don't want to do this all day, but I assume this function works now. We could also implement some tests, but we will leave it at that right now. Okay, great work. So we have warmed up now and now we are ready to move to the actual functionality, to the actual assignment. And this is the moving robot.py, which is a bit more complicated code, but if you're interested in it, go as deep as you want. But for everything else, I would just say leave it at this, because here you have this function which is called robot world. It is called with this keyboard, or this stated with this keyboard class, which means it is a class, and then you have this def init. Init is a constructor, basically a special function within this robot world, and this is only called once at the construction of this robot world class. So when you call this robot world class for the first time, you will automatically call this constructor. And here, for example, you have robot world, and we will assign it to the variable world, and we give it this grid size. And you can see actually here in this init, in Python, you always have the first argument is the function, the class itself, and then you have this grid size over here. And here, for example, all these values here, self grid, they are basically the instance attributes from this class robot world. And below you can see some other functionalities of the robot world, for example, place item and update display. Okay, but this is now all confusing. What do we actually want to do? And for this, I will just draw a very rough outline of that for you over here. I hope you can see it. But basically what you can see here is that you have a grid, and within this grid there is basically, within this grid you can just place randomly 2 items, and you have one robot, and the goal of this robot is to pick up these 2 items. That's the whole point, that's the whole game which we are now programming. And as I've already said, so basically we are taking the code we have now just as it is. We are not touching anything for now. And what we will do now is we will just execute this Python moving robot and see what is already there. Python moving robot, the same as in this random number generator. We will see what will pop up. It actually popped up on another window. So what you can see now here is very simple, this grid and this arrow. And this arrow indicates our robot, to keep it very simple here. And you can also see that you have here these different commands. Yeah, pick up. I already entered here. They are not all there yet, but at the end of this video, they will be there. So what we will do now, we will just quit this animation and then place these two items within this grid. We can just choose any place we want, and for that we can actually just access this world function, this world class, and then place the items, for example, at the position. So this is the first one is the X value, the second one is the Y value. And then we can just place it at the 2, 2, yeah. And the next one we will just place at 4, 4, for example. You can also choose different numbers, whatever comes to your mind. And now we will have a look how this grid has changed. Look at this. And now you can see here there are two items placed within this grid. And now we want to move the robot to the first location and pick up the item. And for that, we need to implement a function which is called turned left. Turn left, sorry. Okay, and for that we just, okay. Yeah, you see, I've just made a video about, oh gosh. You see, I just made a video about AI and how it will change the way we work. This is just a recommendation of my GitHub Copilot, and he actually just recommends me to implement exactly the function like I would have done it, probably because of the Git history. He also takes that into account. But alright, actually, okay, I wanted to explain it a bit to you. So we want to change the robot direction, and we want to change it in a way that it turns left always 90 degrees, so it always rotates 90 degrees. And for that we need to change this instance attribute, which is robot direction. And then we would have a look at this robot direction. And for that, it's okay, this might be a bit complicated, but basically the robot direction is just a value between 0 and 3. The computer science students already know it. Computer science starts not at 1, it starts at 0. And it starts counting at 0. Okay, basically the robot direction has 4 directions, each of course 90 degrees different than the other. We now don't know what actually this robot direction is, so we can simply, what we can do is just trial and error. Okay, we need to quit, and then we just restart it and see what is happening if I turn it to 1. Then we see it's rotated by 90 degrees. And therefore we need a value that is between 0 and 3. I will just write it down and explain the code later. So we want the robot direction -1. It should stay within the value of 0 and 3. Which means if we would have 0 at the start and then we would have 0 minus 1, it would be -1. Modulo 4 would be 3. You can read up how modulo works if you don't understand, but it's quite easy. Basically, question to you, what would happen if I put here +1? It would turn right. Okay, but we only need one direction, And this is also something that you probably don't know. You need to update the display at the end of the function. But alright. Okay, now I will do this like this, that we can see both at the same time. And now we can do turn left, okay? Oh, we see it turns left. Nice. And now we try to move it. Ah, okay. So it moving means in this direction where it is pointing, one grid cell further. Okay, then we turn it left, okay, and move. And now we're at the place where actually this item is placed, and now we want to pick it up. Yeah, and now it works. We have here this pick up an item printout. Okay, very nice. So you can see this is like a little game. I could now continue. Oops, turn left, turn left, again, move, and I would pick up the last item. Oops, okay, small error, but everything's all right. And now I want to actually automate the whole process. I want to turn it and pick it up because I know already where the items are placed, and now I want to implement a function that is called goPath, and then it should automatically turn and move all the items and pick them up by itself. Let's try that out. Probably GitHub Copilot. Yeah, it already knows everything. But, oh gosh, no, this is wrong. There it is wrong. Okay, what we now do is just, we have to memorize all the things. So first we start with this turn left, then another turn left, and then move. We just execute these things, yeah. And then we can try it out. What would happen here? Oh, I was wrong. Because I changed over here. Sorry. Need to restart it. Now we turn left. Yeah, okay, 2 times turn left. Then we move here. Then we would turn left again. Then we would move and pick up. Okay? So turn left. And then we would pick up the item. And after that, we would continue to move 2 times. Then we would turn left 3 times to basically turn right. And after that, we would move 2 times again. And then we would be at the end and do the last pickup. Let's try this out. Of course, if you have changed the values, it would look a bit different for you. Okay, goPath. Woo! Have you seen it? Yeah. Okay, but now a small word also to the more experienced programmer. If you're a beginner, just skip this part and go right to the conclusion. You have probably noticed that this turn left, turn right functionality is quite ugly. I will present to you a far more better way. Just watch. What I actually wanted to do is, I don't want to turn left, I want to do this, I want to enhance this functionality first. Of course, turn left, turn right. Of course, this is also not so nice, okay, but you somehow need to convert this string to a function call, which is kind of okay. But I don't want to have 2 functions, turn left, turn right. who are we, right? I want this turn left functionality. Oof. Where is it? I want this turn left functionality to just be a turn functionality. And then this direction, we will give this direction as a parameter here. And what this does is actually it enables us to write a small lambda functionality to not have two functions, but simply to have a small lambda function can now define turn left into lambda. Yeah, right, turn and then -1 should be. And turn right is now okay, yeah, turn 1. Okay, so that makes it a bit easier, and here you don't need to call this turn right functionality of the class. You can just call this function here, which makes it also a bit easier. We will try that out. Okay. Turn left, turn right. Works. But just for you guys, that you also kind of enjoyed this video a bit and learned something a bit new. And now we actually don't want this error anymore. We actually want to implement this function success. Okay, now we need to implement this function success, yeah? You know what? That's the part where you get creative. So I've actually implemented on a separate branch, which is called solution. You can see the solution there, and then you have a template function for the success. But actually what I want you to do is to have a small assignment, and you can get a success function in Python as creative as you want. And please share it in the comments. I'm interested how your solution looks like, and the best one even might get a small reward. And in case you're wondering what I've just talked about, this main is basically the branch which we are right now. And actually there's another branch which is called solution, which is basically everything I've programmed, including this success function. But how Git works is a topic for another video. And the best part of all of this is you can actually customize this robot's behavior. You can change how the robot looks. You can change, you want to make the robot dance, you can make that. And you can now explore and enhance this whole code base, and there is nothing behind it. There's just simple Python. If you have any questions, also drop it down in the comments. I will try to answer them. And just like that, you have not only built one, but actually 2 small games by yourself. And I think that's a huge step in your programming journey. And remember, it's not knowing everything at once, and it's all about taking small and meaningful steps, just like our little robot here. If you enjoyed this and want me to do more fun little projects like this, please make sure to like this video and let me know in the comments what I should build next. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace out.
You think that this life's made for a king?